Big soccer match going down here in NYC next weekend. Is for the first time ever, we have a Hudson River Derby. NYCFC and the Red Bulls are meeting in the MLS playoffs at Citi Field on November 23rd. Joining me to break it down is a play-by-play announcer for Major League Soccer on Apple TV+. Steve Cangialosi joins me now. Steve, what's going on?
How you doing, Dexter? Thanks for including me in this. Big build-up to the game on Saturday.
Yeah, huge build-up to this game on Saturday. I'm glad to have you. You're one of the great voices in the sport. And Steve, as I mentioned, this is the first time NYCFC and the Red Bulls are meeting in the MLS playoffs. So how does this amplify the rivalry, and what does it mean for MLS soccer here in New York?
Well, quite simply, it's the most important game the teams will have played against each other. The only bigger stage that they can compete against each other on would be an Eastern Conference final. I think one of the most overused phrases in sports is bragging rights, because they're often, I feel, very flimsy, Dexter. The bragging rights that come with a victory, though, in this game, I think, will last at least until the next time that they meet in the postseason. For one team, the elation of winning this game will carry into the next round. For the other, the pain will carry into the next season. And I think soccer in New York needs this game, as it's taken 10 seasons to materialize. New York City Football Club had its inaugural season in 2015. It's taken this long for a Hudson River rivalry playoff game, and each team goes into it having good reason to feel good about its game.
Yeah, both teams feeling really good heading into this matchup, and both teams also, Steve, very different paths to get here. So who do you think has the momentum coming into this match, and how significant is recent form in a rivalry game like this?
What's interesting is that I think it's fair to say each of these teams experienced a pocket of the season, Dexter, where they had to be doubting that they would get this far. New York City at one point was winless in 9 straight MLS matches before winning 3 of the last 4 prior to the playoffs. And some might argue that the Red Bulls' momentum came out of nowhere prior to upsetting the defending champion in the league, Columbus, in the first round. I would say that's inaccurate, though. The club's momentum, in my opinion, really coincided with the return of their captain and their best player to full health. This is a different, more dangerous team with Emil Forsberg making plays in the midfield. He is the best pure passer on the club. He can own the highest compliment I think you can pay a player. He makes everyone around him better. The runs being made by teammates like Lewis Morgan, the leading goal scorer on the team, those runs are made more confidently when they know Forsberg will find them. So in that sense, I think they have equal momentum going in, which makes this a fascinating single elimination match.
Hey, that's what you want, right? You want two teams going in with great momentum, and that's what makes this so exciting. Now, when we look at the pitch, Steve, and we look at individual battles on the pitch, who do you think, is there one that you think will decide the game, or are there specific head-to-heads matchups that you're keeping an eye on for this one?
I've seen enough of these to know these teams don't like each other very, very, very much. And I invoke that because I think keeping emotion in check is very important in this game. The Red Bulls had an early meltdown the last time they played New York City on September 28th. They trailed 2-0 by the time the game was 7 minutes old. And one of the goals was a mistake by 21-year-old Daniel Edelman on a poor back pass, and the Red Bulls were in a hole that they never climbed out of. Now, Edelman in these playoffs has been sensational, a hard tackling, reliable presence in the midfield, and he's also the player that converted the clinching shot in the penalty shootout to eliminate Columbus in the previous round. I suspect he's going to play a very important role in neutralizing the talented veteran midfielder Maxi Morales of New York City in the game on Saturday. And as for City, I would go with Alonso Martinez, who is a natural number 9 now, really for the first time in his career, and his skill has translated into a 16-goal season. He's so good at finding dangerous spots in the attacking third. If he's allowed to find that space in this game, City can enjoy this match on its home ground.
Yeah, Martinez has had a fantastic season in terms of finishing. We'll see if he can continue it in this matchup. Now, I want to talk to you about the head coaching here, Steve, because NYCFC's Nick Cushing and the Red Bulls' Sandro Suarez, they've brought unique approaches to their respective teams. What tactical adjustments might we see from both head coaches in such a high-stakes match as the one coming up this weekend?
Keep in mind, this is only the second time the Red Bulls will play a game at Citi Field. And the soccer configuration in the baseball park means a slightly shorter field and one that is more narrow. I think the bigger decision on any tactical adjustment belongs to Sandro Schwartz here. Do the Red Bulls deviate from the back three that they played in the previous round that worked to perfection against Columbus and go with a back four on this field, or do they stay with the original plan? What's interesting from New York City's perspective, Dexter, is that they occasionally use Red Bull Arena as a home ground when Yankee Stadium and Citi Field are unavailable, which was the case practically for all of October due to the baseball playoffs. And New York City won its last 3 games at Red Bull Arena. So the fact that this is on their home ground per se is not that big an advantage. And here's something else. Citi Field is capping the attendance for this game at 22,500 because the Mets are in the process of winterizing the stadium. Home field advantage, my point, could probably be more than what it's going to be for New York City on Saturday. With that said, tactically, I'm not expecting anything other than City to dominate possession and the Red Bulls try to create chances on counterattacks, which they are very equipped to do.
All right, so we should see what both these teams generally do. We should see that in this matchup, and we'll see if that plays out. Now, Nick, you know this. In the playoffs, we always need to see primetime players. So which players on both sides need to step up for their team to advance? Are there any unsung heroes who might play a pivotal role in this match?
We haven't talked about the goalkeepers yet. I should do that now. Matt Freese has probably been New York City's best player this season, probably deserved to be a finalist for MLS Goalkeeper of the Year. He and the Red Bulls' Carlos Coronel each got their teams this far with heroic performances in penalty shootouts in the previous round. If you're going to tell me one will be measurably better than the other on Saturday, then that's a big advantage for their respective teams, obviously. Lewis Morgan for the Red Bulls has been strong in these playoffs, but he hasn't scored yet. I suspect he might have to do that on Saturday. And as for New York City, I think there's an interesting choice for Nick Cushing at right back. Tavon Gray, New York kid, played very well the last time these teams met back in September. Will he be the choice, or will it be Mitja Ilinic, who had a big moment against Cincinnati in the previous round? Whoever that is has to come up strong in what will be a pressure-packed situation on Saturday.
All right, so keep your eyes on those players for that matchup. I guess the last thing for me here, Nick, is prediction time. Who wins this match on the 23rd, and why will they be victorious? You got to pick a team. Who are you rocking with?
So New York City has every expectation, I think, to do this. And if they reach the conference final, that'll be the 3rd time they do it in a span of 4 years. Dexter, that would be remarkably consistent in this league. They are rightly favored. But, Dexter, I'm going to leave you with this. I can't separate these teams. And if around 7:45 p.m. we're bracing for penalty kicks on Saturday, don't be surprised. I think they're that even.
Oh, Steve, I don't know if people want to go through that again. I apologize. I was calling you Nick because I was thinking about my producer, Nick. I don't know if people want to go through that again. But if that happens, Steve, I would not be surprised at all whatsoever. Are you ready for that? That's the key question here. Are you ready for this if it goes down to penalty kicks?
Yeah, as an announcer, you stay in the moment and you try to invoke the experience that these teams have, which for New York City, by the way, includes victory in a penalty shootout in the one MLS Cup they played in and won back in 2021. But what do they say? On any given day, it can flip, right?
That is true. That is true. Any given day, it can flip. I, like you, would not be surprised if this heads to a penalty shootout, and I think that'll be fantastic for New York soccer, fantastic for both of these teams. That one going down on the 23rd, NYCFC and the New York Red Bulls in Hudson River Derby Major League playoff match. Should be an exciting one. That is Steve Cangialosi, play-by-play announcer for MLS on Apple TV+. Steve, pleasure to talk to you about this. We got to do this again soon. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks a lot, Dexter. Great to be here.